This week's episode of That Boxing Show with me, Johnny Nelson, we had Callum Simpson from Barnsley and Liverpool's Natasha Jones, who come and tell us their stories about the life in boxing, in and out of it. Callum tells us, or should I say, throws his dad under the bus because he was in the studio, but it was funny. Natasha, she talks about being a manager. She talks about, you know, the highs and lows of being the face of boxing, especially female boxing. It's an interesting listen. Enjoy. You were complaining about having to drive across, weren't you?
I'm always complaining, Johnny, you know this. So yeah.
And you're coming from just up the road, so
yeah, about 15 minutes for me, not far at all.
All right.
Fast, straight that in one.
Well, your man was complaining because he got here early and he thought you set him up because we're trying to get him on the show. He's a bit of a crybaby.
He is. As we all know, we've seen it a few times, haven't we? But he's always complaining. Because the thing is, he arrives on time, but he knows I'm going to be late, so he acts like it makes him look early.
That's his expectations. If he knows, then you know.
But yeah, exactly. But the thing is, I actually get my lateness from my dad because when I used to wait for him to pick me up, we were on about the other day. He'd be like, "Yeah, I'll pick you up at 4 o'clock." 4:15, 4:30, 5 o'clock. Like, Dad, where are you? So, but now the thing is, now he's better now. But now he's actually on time, so he's passed on his late trait to me. And now, now he complains. But
before you're waiting for you now.
Exactly. So all them years I've had to suffer waiting for him. Now I'm giving it back to him now.
You know, this is how your daughter's going to be talking about you. I saw that little stint you did on Instagram when you were dancing. I think you got moves. I'm like,
I mean, knees couldn't take any more. Another take of that. I had to get it done in 3 takes.
Was it?
It was for the Alder Hay Children's, and I'd seen it was Alder Hay Children's Hospital. They have a pyjama sales every year that 100% goes to the charity, and I'm a ambassador for the charity. So it's just to raise money and awareness. But I'd seen the trend, and like it was like POV. I've told my daughter I'll watch the kids for the weekend if she bees me backward dancer. So all the kids that they're going for it in the background. I thought, no, that's a good one to do. So I said to the baby, like, shall we do one? Because she doesn't always ask for TikToks and stuff, but sometimes she'll be like, oh, go on, Mum. So I was like, quite cool, we'll do this one. She was like, I told her no about something, and she went, well, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing your thingy then. And I was like, okay, then don't. And then she came back and she was like, which one should the hold? Talking about the wooden spoon or the ladle. So I was like, go on, you can do it.
So just tell me, you call her the baby. I've never heard you call her by her name. So she's not christened the baby. What's her name?
Mila.
So when she's like 18, you're going to keep calling her the baby?
She'll always be the baby. She's the baby. My brother's 28 and he's the baby.
Does she mind you calling her the baby?
No, I think it's a Scouse thing, to be honest.
Oh, right.
How old is she, daughter?
She's 10 in December.
Oh, 10. Yeah, still a baby then, still a baby.
Always a baby.
Yeah, that's it.
Baby.
I do remember my granddaughter, her name's Alara, but I keep calling her Wawa because when she was younger, she couldn't say her name. So I think her mum tipped her off and said, Granddad's winding you up. So she'll say, Granddad, stop winding me up, you're bold. And I'm like, all right.
You have a good way of humbling you.
Yeah. She'll put you back in your place. So anyway, welcome. Thanks for coming to Sheffield. And this is it's pretty cool, pretty easy. We'll probably talk to you first, Callum, because you're still an active young fighter. We're old now. No, I'm older than you.
Whoa. It's like, you're retired yet, have you? I mean, I'm not heard a confirmation retirement yet.
She's doing what she wants. She's a manager. Yeah. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
Old, retired,
active.
all in one sentence. That was just
a bit much.
I know.
Listen, off camera. I get all the abuse.
When you mention you can swear, I think this is about with the time. This is about with the time to swear now. Sorry.
You get called a name now, definitely.
So you're in a great position now, Callum. Obviously, the movement of boxer with the BBC and everything. You're in a great position. Then, how's that feel? What's the plan?
Yeah, it's obviously. I'm excited with the move from Sky to BBC. Obviously, I've had an amazing time on Sky. I've had eight fights being with Boxer and Sky together. But yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunities to come from the BBC deal. In terms of commercials that I've been told from Boxer and for the BBC, we're looking at from hundreds of thousands of views to millions of views. You know, free to air, terrestrial TV. So for me, it's going to be massive. All I want to do is just as long as I can keep getting opportunities, keep getting exposure, and just keep winning, then I'm happy.
Tash, how are we going to work it? Because if he's on a show and he's unboxing a Sky fighter, are we going to slag him down or are we going to be all right with him?
He's crossed the line, Johnny. He's crossed the line. No. I think you just got to. You've always just got. I feel you've always got to tell the truth. So boxers well, I say.
I think that's.
I haven't had to slag him off yet, so hopefully that'll continue.
The only thing that the only negative for me about box going to BBC is they're not going to have the Sky broadcast team and presenters and commentary team. You know what I mean? So that's the only thing I'm gutted about. That's the only thing. That's the only thing.
What he's saying. He's definitely ripped that on way in.
They're never going to be that broadcast team, so I don't know.
Well, I was gutted because I just saw at Oakwell at the football ground.
Yeah.
Like, twice now we've done it.
Twice.
And it's mad. And you're like Elvis in Barnsley. You know what I mean? You can't go anywhere.
How was that? How was it at Oakwell? First time?
Unreal. Both times were just special in their own way. Obviously, the first time doing it, like growing up as the Barnsley lad, South Yorkshire lad, I've always come to Sheffield to watch the big fights, or maybe in Leeds, and you see the big stadium fights for the world titles. But for me, I never even thought that fighting it. People say, "Oh, it's a dream come true," but it's more than a dream come true because I never would have even thought it'd be possible. Yeah. And then when I kind of flashed back to the moment walking out. I was talking with Dave Calder in the changing room before, and he wrote about Tony Bellew when he fought. Is it Selhurst Park he fought at? And he wrote about the nerves getting to him a little bit in the changing room, and he got dropped in the first round. And
Goodison, it was.
Goodison, Goodison parts where that's it. And I thought, I feel confident all the time. I'm never going to get nervous. But I thought, you don't know until you know. You don't know until you step out and you see them, that East Stand packed out, everyone shouting your name. What if I just crumble? Yeah. And I thought, well, we'll find out. So I did the ring walk. Walked out, everyone just chanting. One of my friends, Macy Smales, rapped me out. The professor, one of the local bands lad as well. Yeah. So I come out to his song, and everyone's there chanting. There's only one Callum Simpson, and I turned the corner, and there was just a sea, Barnsley folk, Yorkshire folk there, and I was like, this is where I'm meant to be. This is where I'm meant to be. And it just felt amazing. Didn't feel nervous at all. And then won the British title, unreal, and then come back again. 10 months later for the European.
How did things change being at home in and around? Because from that, it's like the whole of Barnsley were there. So I'm quite sure you couldn't walk down the street without somebody shouting your name or beeping the car. How did that change, or are they that used to you now? It's pretty cool.
I think they're used to me now, yeah. Because I think for me, I'm so accessible. I'm always at different schools or different boxing gyms or community stuff, doing loads in the community. I'm always in town centre, and I'll be in quality save or something, and a kid will be like, Callum Simpson. I'm like, you're right. And he's like, what are you doing in here?
I've got to eat.
Exactly. I've got to do my shopping, and it's I can't believe I've just seen you coming down frozen aisle. I'm like, mate, where do you think I shop? Yeah. And I were at Tesco the day putting some petrol in my car, and someone walked past, someone put the window down saying, what's Callum doing filling his car up at Tesco? And I was like, where am I supposed to fill my car up? Is there some kind of premium pro boxer petrol or something? I was like, where am I supposed to fill it up? So I think everyone's got a certain, they think a boxer or influential person or whatever they are, but I'm just a normal person, just go about my day-to-day life.
Shopping, there's places there, shopping, filling your car up in the same places. Do you know what I mean? You are them people, you're from that place, this is what you do.
One day they'll see me headlining in front of 15,000 at Oakwell, next day I'm in quality save or whatever, it's just it's crazy.
This quality save, is that a thing? Yeah.
Sponsor me, there's a few, get you on BBC, millions of viewership, we've got you, we'll sort it.
It's kind of the same for you, Natasha, because at one point, Mr. GB, that's pressure, that's some big pressure. I don't know if I saw an advert where a plane was landing and I don't know if it was your face cut into the grass or something like that. That's kind of a tension. That's kind of, so back home in Liverpool, you're very matter of fact about it.
No, it's exactly the same as Callum, and I think that's what people like about us, that was just normal. We're good at a particular thing, but Monday morning you're back to doing what you do.
But how was it you got a mural?
Oh yeah.
How was the mural?
I'm about to mention that. I'd rather that than a world title. Yeah. That's unreal. That's
mural
unreal.
In your hometown. Whereabouts is it?
It's in Toxteth, where I grew up. Yeah.
Do you drive past it a lot?
Well, now I know that the mystery bus, which is the Beatles tour, stops there.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, it stops there and let you take pictures and get them.
Is your sister on there as well?
She's on another wall a bit further down, but we're all in, because obviously that's where we grew up, that's where we used to play football, that was our old school, so it's in and around where we was.
Where you were.
Where we were causing trouble.
Yeah. Oh, amazing.
So in that alone, because you've got the baby, does she understand how big mum is? How much of a big deal mum is?
She couldn't care less. She couldn't care less. The only time I've got any type of kudos from her is when I went into their school. The teachers had said, "Oh, can you come in and do a talk?" I went in and brought me little belts and I thought, I'll show the kids all the belts and all the medals. And everyone was like, "Mila, is that your mum? Is that your mum?" And she was like, yeah, she held my hand. But as soon as we walked out the door, she was like, Nikita, she absolutely adores. Like, if I look down on her phone, I'll see like, Kita 67 times. I'm like, you better stop phoning her. This was in the Euros. She better stop phoning her. She's got a match to play. She's like, I was just chatting. I was like, I've messaged Kita. I was like, oh, Kita, I'm sorry, I've just seen the baby's phone. How many times she's phoned you? She was like, oh no, she talks to me like a big woman. Really? She's like, how's your day? How's your training going? So she does all that with Kita, but she doesn't care what I do.
And people won't believe it. That's talent in one family. You know, some big talent there. Your mum must think, I'm on it. Now, your mum looks the same age as you lot. You know, she's probably out more than you are. So when they
100%.
Yeah, so when the after parties are there, your mum's like, everybody, we're going here.
Yeah.
We're on it. But she's very young at heart, and I think that's probably why you guys are so independent.
Yeah, I think just even my nan's probably, we have a family party, my nan's the last one in. And I'm like the old nag saying, where have you been? Get in this house. And she's just like, yeah, I'm just staying out another hour. My little girl won't go to bed until my nan comes in if we stay in my nan's. Yeah. And like she stands at the top of the stairs waiting for a fume, and it's light outside. You've been out. You haven't came in. Where have you been? Who have you been with? My nan's like, it's like I've got a husband.
Whenever there's anything happening in Liverpool, boxing wise, her house is like your nan. Is it your nan's house?
Yeah, it's my nan's. Yeah.
Food, everything. I mean, like I don't know who she's cooking for, but there's food there. Yeah, like me and my boys will get there's enough food. We're just there killing the food. It's like that's the best thing about it. So we laugh about it.
I'm invited.
I'll be waiting.
Just saying up.
We get in the back way.
I'll be waiting for me.
I know. Have you got any kids?
I've not got any kids, no, not yet. Yeah, in the future, but nothing at the minute. No plans.
Your girlfriend, does she used to do some kind of competition like bodybuilding?
She did a bikini bodybuilding competition last year, yeah. She won it, first time doing it.
Has she a lot to do with your diet?
Not really, no. It helps that she's very active and that she watches what she eats as well, which is a massive help.
That must work well, because sometimes when you're boxing and like, I know everything in our house goes, there's no crisps, there's no sweets, there's no nothing. Yeah. So if I'm on a diet, the baby's on a diet.
What's your cheat? Do you ever cheat something?
Not really, no.
Really?
No, I'm quite good. If I've got it, I'm quite good. Can be quite good.
What's your cheat?
What isn't my cheat? Where do we start? Literally, like, some people have got a sweet tooth or like savoury. I've got both. I'll have main, dessert, and then back to main, back to dessert again.
Did this grab you up?
I think I get it from my dad.
Go to Starbucks.
That's what it is.
Getting room warm water. Your dad saying, I came on the phone, room temperature water. Or what is it? Latte with caramel, something.
No, decaf, almond milk, sugar-free, any sugar-free syrup's all right. But yeah, I love my food. That's my vice. I don't drink, don't smoke, never touch a drug in my life. My food.
Mine used to be Mr. Kipling's Cherry Bakewells.
Cherry Bakewells.
Oh yeah.
Can't beat them. Or 24 bag of Walker's cheese and onion crisp. And so what I do is...
What, like a 24 pack?
The multi-pack.
Yeah.
Like a multi-pack?
The big thing. So what I do is I get it, I'd put it in a cupboard and I'd wait till Saturday. So I'd buy it and I'm like, Saturday, I'm on it. So I stick to my diet all week.
Yeah.
And then I'm there, just like 6 box Cherry Bakewell, crisps. I can kill them. It's just like, that's my weakness.
It's the worst cheat meal
I know.
I've ever heard of in my life.
Full meal if I'm going to cheat. I'm going for the food.
You've got a mountain of crisps.
I went crazy on Walker's crisps last night.
So how was it at home when you're prepping for a fight? Is it a bit, because if you've got 2 athletes that are watching what they're eating?
Yeah, it's to be fair, we do a lot of cooking separately. I've got my own like diet plan that I follow. She'll have her own. She's not on a diet at the minute, but she'll still eat healthy. So it's very rare that we actually cook for each other, or because she works full time as well. She's an ODP, so she's an operating department practitioner in the NHS. So she does that full time, and she does aesthetics on the side as well as her own business. So she's out of house most days. I'm training back and then back at gym, so rarely even see each other, to be fair, unless it's like a week and we try and plan something. But eating wise, yeah, it's definitely a lot better than I could imagine most of our boxers with their partners. We're getting takeaways or like you say, Chris in house or Mr. Kipling's cherry bakewells in house.
It's definitely easier when someone's doing it with you, though, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah.
But back to Oakwell. I'm sorry. Back to you fighting at Oakwell. Are you a Barnsley fan?
I am, yeah.
So you go to the games. So you used to go into the games.
Yeah.
I want to say. Sorry, I was going to say Everton.
No, I thought you was wearing the whole...
The old classic.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it did remind me of the old classic. So you're Liverpool, but you used to play football and then you moved over to boxing.
Yeah.
What was the... How was that?
You got sense, man.
You got sense.
Sense would be the other way round.
Yeah.
It was an injury. It wasn't through any... It wasn't through like a choice.
What injury?
I tore me cruciate ligament.
Oh, right, okay. So
Yeah, in my knee.
time after that.
Yeah.
That's just standard. That could have been a football excuse, isn't it?
Classic injury.
Pull
knees.
this, that's it.
How old was you when that happened?
I was 20. So
Really?
you're talking obviously 21 years ago now. So now you're probably out maybe 8 months on your back.
Yeah.
But then it was like a year out with like rehab recovery.
Yeah.
Then a year trying to get back into the squad. So 2 years out of any sport is too long.
It's a
So
time.
it was
So
just
you
the
switched
end.
over to were you boxing as well then, or you just thought, now I've got this injury and I've recovered, I don't want to be here again, I'd rather pull a muscle in my arm.
No, I'd always knew how to like punch and stuff. I'd done karate, I'd done Thai boxing, stuff like that.
Right.
But I'd never just boxed.
Yeah.
And when I went to the Rotunda, they were like, "Oh, we think you're good." When I was just training, they would say, "We think you're good enough to have a fight. Do you want it?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "I kind of know what it takes to be an athlete."
Yeah.
And I wasn't 20. I'm not scared anymore.
Yeah, if you know how to take care of your body and prepare your body to perform, like whether it's football or boxing, there's a certain level of athleticism that you're going to need, and that can translate over really well. But so when you were boxing, you were there. What did you say? 20 years old?
21. I had my first.
And then you
one.
turned pro at 33.
I can't even remember. It was 2017, whatever that makes me, because I can't do the maths quick enough.
Yeah. Okay. Well, someone told me you were 33. So
I'll go with them. I'll go with that.
For me. But yeah, so you were there for a while as an amateur or training before you turned professional.
I only left the amateurs because I got injured. I got snapped my ligaments in my toe in the Commonwealth Games, and it meant that I was going to miss the qualifier for Rio in 2016. And I thought, well, am I still going to be boxing in 2020? Or do I want to still be on this squad at 2020? Definitely not. Yeah. So it didn't...
Because you wanted to have turned pro by then?
No, there was no pro scene really. It just didn't make... At that time, I didn't think I'd still be boxing, so I just wanted to... I was thinking, if now... If there's a gap ever, now's the time to like go and have a baby, because I've been with me fella for like 3 years at that time. I was like, no, like this is the gap that I've kind of needed and wanted.
Fits in perfect.
Yeah.
I remember watching her box Katie Taylor at the 2012 Olympics, and AJ had boxed and everybody. It was mad. It was crazy there. And I must admit, it was the nicest time to be in London. Everybody was nice and polite, weren't they?
I always said that.
Yeah, it was the nicest time to be in London. And then we went into the hall where you were on, and it was like, trust me, it's never been so noisy. It was mad. It was the most exciting, energetic event of the Olympics, their fight. It was crazy. I think I was with Adam Smith, and I'm looking around thinking, people won't believe this left away here. It was just a different level of challenging against each other. But you must have, that's got to be is that the highest thing you've been to in regards to crowd participation?
Yeah, I think anything with Irish and Scouse people, like most of Liverpool has got some form of Irish blood anyway. But I think together it was just, we actually got a record in the 2012 Olympic for the loudest crowd participation noise. Really? So that's in the stadium, that's in any Olympic event. Wow. That fight got the loudest thing. And
amazing.
How are you and Katie now? Would you still, is it still a possibility you two actually getting in the mix?
I'm not too sure. I think a lot of it rests on Katie. I think she's...
Not you, it's not her.
It's definitely on her. She's earned the right to pick and choose and decide when...
And why do you think she'd not choose you?
I don't know if she'll choose another fight. I think she's earned a lot of money off the last three Serrano fights. And it's like, if she does come back, then there'll always be that question of why didn't you choose Chantal? And then I don't think there's anyone out there really else to push her.
So I think Katie wants it more than the people around her still. She wants to still fight on. So I'm probably, so it's a case, I think she'd probably want to fight more rather than everybody else around her does.
I think her dad has I'd had conversations with her about retiring. I think that's what I hear, but he's been saying that for a while.
So for you, realistically, would that be that would be the one song for you if you said, "Give me that fight"?
It's been the only one that I've voiced I wanted, that I believe that I can get myself up for. You know, sometimes when everyone's like, even now, I'll just come back and win, and then you retire on a win, don't retire on. I was like, but what for? Like, what's the point in putting myself mentally and physically through that just to say, you know what, I had more in, thank you all very much. But if you're not invested in it, or you're not motivated by it, then it can turn the other way, and it could be a bad result.
You need that ambition for it, don't you?
Oh, and what about you, Callum? You're in a very strong position as a fighter now, especially now headlining for Boxer. What's the plan?
Plan for me.
What's the ambition within 12 months?
The ambition for me is I believe I can be fighting for a world title by the end of next year. You know, I've British, Commonwealth, European. I've got 2 international titles as well. I'm ranked top 10 with all 4 governing bodies. You know, Crawford just got all the belts now. How long is he going to keep them for? He's kind of only got 2 fights left. So the way I see it is the belts are splitting middle of next year toward the end of next year.
Who do you think you'd end up fighting the title for?
Hamzah Sheeraz, headline a stadium, headline an arena, headline O2 Arena in England. I think that's a massive UK fight. He's obviously got the Saudi backing, the Riyadh season backing, and he's also just beat Belanga. I think it's the only fight. He's only had 1 fight at super middle. But I've made it clear I want that fight. His management's come out and said that was the next fight for him, but
against you, what's the next fight?
Yeah. Is it Spencer Brown?
Yeah.
He's done 2 interviews where he's mentioned my name and said that Callum's the next fight for Hamzah. But then since then I've seen Hamzah do an interview where he says he's not bothered about fighting me next. He wants a challenge. So.
Right, okay. That's foreplay.
Well, that's it.
He's just playing with you.
Exactly.
That's almost like the start of
yeah,
something
that's
there,
it.
isn't it?
But for me, as long as I can keep winning and just keep building, keep developing, keep learning, there's no reason why me and him can't be fighting for a world title by the end of next year. Like, he's obviously, again, he's got the Saudi backing. He's ranked top 5 in all governing bodies, or at least top 10 in all governing bodies. I've got the backing from Boxer, BBC, and obviously very, very marketable. It's a great commercially, so it makes sense. It makes sense for us both to be fighting.
I saw His Excellency with Ben doing some kind of promotional thing. So probably the possibility of that ending up happening sooner rather than later is probably a lot stronger than you realise.
Definitely. Like, so when I spoke to Ben about the deal with Saudis, and it's obviously a partnership they've got again in terms of that sponsorship and working with each other. And you know, I met Turkey as well, and I've been. My name's in their mix now. My name's in the mix. So they know who I am. They like what I do. So yeah, there's no reason why. Keep winning, and then see what happens with these belts. And
who like kind of as the final say on these decisions about the fights? Obviously, you've got managers, promoters, and everyone like that throwing their bit. What thinks going to be best? Is it managers? I know Natasha's a manager now.
It's hard. It's not just like I can easily just say, "Oh, I'll fight Hamzah," but there's so much business and politics, and you don't realise that. And
there's so much politics.
It's crazy and it's like I don't know if there's actually anyone that I get as like the final say, because I might agree to it, Hamzah might agree to it, but then
it's got to be everyone.
But they might not want to put it on a certain show. They might not have a certain date, or there's so many different ways where it can go wrong. Like, so many things have got to align, like the dates, the broadcasters, the governing bodies, the boxers, the trainers, the management, the promotions. There's so much they've got to align.
You become a manager as well now.
Wait. The first female black manager.
That's true. Sorry. Excuse me.
Yeah, right. I think it's definitely something.
But that, and listening to the headache right there, is this? You want some of this?
Well, do you know what? It is. And unfortunately, getting the 2 fighters to agree the fight is the easiest part. Like, all the other nicks and knacks and where's it going to be shown? You know, who's going to have the rights to it? What's going to happen with the belt? Can it be sanctioned? That's the hard part. I'm in the early stages, so I haven't got to that nitty-gritty bit yet. But I am dealing with small hall shows, and then dealing with productions and being on promoted shows on TV, and that it is a different ball game, and it's a nice headache to have. But yeah, I mean, some of it's just
How is it managing versus fighting? Obviously, there's a big difference. You've got fighters that you're looking after or whatever, and being that side of the ropes for the fight, watching your fighter like that, rather than being in there doing it yourself.
Oh, you can. I think on Mikey's last fight on the Saudi show, you can literally hear me screaming, "Mikey, Gordon!" Like it's.
You're coaching from the sides.
Because you've got no control over it. It's harder.
Yeah.
I think it's hard. I don't know about you,
yeah,
but it's harder. Even watching Callum or
it's harder to watch.
It's harder to watch yourself. And you can see everything when we're sitting there on a Sky night and we're looking and we're comfortable in our seat and we're like, you should have done that there. Yeah, you should have done that. And we're saying it sometimes. But when you're in there, it's split seconds and you've only got. First of all, you're trying to keep your concentration. Then you've got split seconds to react, and it's not always as easy as to see it when you're sitting on.
I always seem to, I think, with you doing this, I always seem to have a problem with when you've got promoters and managers that have never been in the ring, and they're telling you or telling fighters, you're this, that, and other, you can't do this. Like, I think you stick to promoting. Don't be telling the fighter what you can and can't do in the ring, because unfortunately, because they're in such a public position, the public believe them. So fighters stick to fighting, managers stick to managing, promoters stick to promoting. But if you've done it, then you have more of a right to talk about what's going on than what's not going on. It's like when you're fighting, as you said, the fighters agree to it, but they're not the problem. It's everybody else. So I suppose being a manager and a promoter, you've got to package it and sell it right and sell the narrative. I think I remember when Carl Froch boxed, oh my God, George Groves. But he actually wanted to box Chavez Jr. in Vegas. And
Carl did.
And so he wanted to box out in Vegas. He said, I'm not boxing, George Groves. You're mad. Yeah. Why? He's nothing to me. But the wisdom of Barry Hearn said, no. And they argued back and forth about it. So he had the wisdom and understanding to say this is better business. But the ego of a fighter, he's probably thinking fight rather than money. Now the rest is history. The fight obviously with George Groves came about, and that's because Barry Hearn pushed for it no matter what. So he used his wisdoms and sharps. He didn't take a call, you'll not beat Chavez or you'll not do X, Y, Z. He just said this is better business. So that's the position you're probably in, having to separate yourself between the business side of it and the emotional heart of it, of understanding the fighters.
Right, what you're saying in terms of like in terms of like when my coach or manager promoter's making fights, we all see it from a different point of view. So my coach, he wants the best fight available to challenge me the right amount, to improve me as a fighter. To keep that. My management or the promoter wants the best fight commercially, what's going to sell for the broadcaster, what the broadcaster going to happy with, what's going to sell, what's the biggest fight we can do, and then my manager might want to try and get the most money for me, or again to develop my career. So everyone's got their own. Everyone wants something different out of the fight. So even I might have, again, a lot of boxers got egos. I'll fight him, I'll fight that. But then sometimes it's like, no, you don't need to fight him. This fight here, this is bigger commercially, more marketable. And my coach might be like, no, we want this kind of challenge. We want to work on this for when we step up to, again, for example, we fought Zuko, Southpaw, because there's Iglesias is a Southpaw at that world level. Prepare my first Southpaw in 18 fights.
Whose choice was that? Was that yours, the manager's choice?
He was actually mandatory for the European. And then I think Saggio vacated, and then I got put mandatory. So it wasn't really a choice, but it was something that we were happy that we got me mandatory. We were like, yeah, that's perfect, because I've not fought a Southpaw. Obviously, I spar loads of Southpaws, but I've not fought a Southpaw yet. So it was like perfect for me to work on that. And again, especially on the small hall fights, you've got more control. We want to fight certain people, like some that forward come on the front foot, some on the back foot, some that throw certain shots or practice certain things. So I think that again, as a boxer, there's so much that the business. Again, it's the commercial aspect. What's going to develop career as a business, and as like commercially marketability, and also develop your skills as a boxer and as a fighter.
I want to say a big thanks to our sponsors BetGoodwin for supporting That Boxing Show. Now, if you're interested in having a little flutter, or as I call it after my dad, Benji's Bets, BetGoodwin's the place to be. Check out BetGoodwin using the QR code on the screen. Bet £20 on boxing, get a £20 free bet with BetGoodwin. Minimum qualifying odds apply. Free bet expires within 7 days. UK and Irish customers only. 18 or over. Gambleaware.org. Full T&Cs apply. So Callum's in the thick of his career. You're at a certain part of your career. But you're at a part of your career now where you're now looking at, I'm there, deep in it, where you think, I'm out of that now. You're setting up live and setting up the things that make you happy outside of life. What, away from boxing, does it for you? What do you do away from boxing?
I think just being involved with the community, the young kids of Liverpool mainly, but I go as far as Manchester, and I think trying to be a little bit of inspiration, positive, reinforcement of believing in yourself, and that's the kind of thing I kind of promote, and I just try and be the person that I needed to see when I was a little girl. Like I wasn't, and yes, I've started in sport, but that doesn't mean I have to finish in sport, and it doesn't mean I'm only confined to sport. So you'll see me in different spaces doing different things, because people need to see people doing different things.
I feel like as you grow up and you succeed in things, you kind of do want to do that. You want to be the person that you could have done with at that age, to come and offer a hand or show you something or give you some advice or point something out. I think that makes a big difference to where you can go and how you can handle things moving forward, definitely.
I do a lot of stuff going to talk in prisons and stuff like that, and I think I've been to one near Liverpool, and because when other people meet you, like when you're in the petrol station, you're like, what's he doing here? They've got to understand you're just like everybody else, but you just made different choices in life. So I suppose you speaking to the kids, you're trying to get the kids to say, I'm no different from you. Yeah. This is the option I've taken, but it's getting that message across. And do you find that I suppose the nicest thing is when one kid you change the life or the direction of one kid, one young person coming through, a boy or a girl. So you've opened it up for young girls to play football, to box, whereas 10, 15 years ago, it was like unheard of.
To win an ABA title, when I was boxing as an amateur, you had to box 2 or 3 times. 3 of you were like in a popular division. Now, they've got a schoolgirls, they've got a juniors, they've got a youth, they've got under 10s. You've got.
Does your daughter box?
She has a little go.
Would you let her?
I think it's hard to follow in your parents' footsteps, especially if your parents being so successful. There's an expectation that you're going to be a certain type of good.
Mm-hmm. Yes or no?
Maybe like a Ben Eubank, Jonas.
If
they have a girl.
Well, if she wanted to, she can do whatever she wants. She's the boss. Everyone thinks I'm the boss. I might be an ex-world champion, but I can't even boss my own house.
And you'd be alright with that?
It'd be hard. It'd be hard. My brother does MMA, and I hate sitting there watching him.
Yeah.
It's just, it goes back to the thing of when it's people that and you can't control it. You're like, it's hard to sit there, and then everyone's watching you because you should know. And they're like, what are you going to tell them? What are you going to say? And I'm like,
Have you got a pro trainer's license or is your manager's license?
Just a manager, managers.
I've got my pro trainer's license, and so I've been in corner for like Yasmina for a European title, Sylvia won as girls for an area title, Corey O'Regan for a British title. I've also, and Jimmy First as well, actually fought on a boxer show. But I also do a lot of journeymen as well. So like 3 weeks ago in Dublin, a Wasserman show, do you know Mick Conlon and Bateson undercard. We were actually at the fight 2 fights after that. So I was sat, obviously promoters row ringside watching fight, and then after that, 10 minutes later, I'm in ring for a journeyman at 12 o'clock. And I can remember Andy Lee would look at me like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm coming corner. So it's like, so all the way from doing journeyman to actual people who are, again, prospects as well. So, but again, when you're in the corner, you're shouting stuff for them to do, but you're not. It's so much harder when you're not in there doing it yourself.
What made you choose to do that?
I think for me, it's a lot of the time in between fights. You'll know when you're not in camp, it's always good to have something to focus on, and obviously because I love boxing, it's good for me. It was good to do something in boxing. And when I was younger, people always say, "What are you going to do after boxing? Would you get to train?" And I'm like, I'd hate to be a trainer. No chance. I'll never be a trainer. But as I'm getting older now, and I think, I don't mind this. I don't mind helping out in gym and giving a bit back. Yeah, that's it exactly. But yeah, and I love because I feel like because I know how I am on fight night and how I feel like things should run like smoothly in the changing room. When I do it for someone else, it's like I make sure that I am there for them in that changing room, in the corner, whatever they need. Like, do you need more water? Do you need ice? Do we need this? Like, do you want your music starting? Do you want, is your gloves on right? I try and make sure that everything is perfect for them, so they're as relaxed as possible going into a fight. Yeah. And again, I try and give whether I'm holding spit bucket, whether I've got ice on back, whatever it is, I'll just do whatever. And again, there's a few local Barnsley fighters as well that I'll help out in corner just to be in the corner for them because it looks good for them.
What kind of a kid was you?
Ask my dad. I don't know. I'd say I were a good kid.
What was the handful? Yeah.
I were a good kid. Don't be like that. I had a bit of a tantrum when I was younger. But then when I started,
what do you mean, a tantrum or a temper?
Temper. When I was like 7, 8, 9, before I started boxing, I had a tantrum, a temper. A temper. Because my brother.
Was it one of those kids that fell on the floor in the supermarket?
He's got an older brother.
Oh,
my older brother Bradley, yeah. Whether he used to, even in breathing, used to wind me up. We used to be back of the car all the way to our grandma's or something, and my dad was driving, and he'd breathe a certain way to wind me up on a purpose. Yeah, but on a purpose. He'd not just be normal. He'd be like, he's doing it again. He's like, what's he doing? Like, he's breathing. You're like, what do you mean? Like, he'd do it on a purpose. He's winding me up. And, like, he's doing it on a purpose. Like, honestly, he'll just tap me, but he did it on a purpose. But yeah, so I used to have a bad temper when I was younger. But then as I got older, I was started boxing. That definitely went.
So it stayed in the house. You weren't fighting at school or in the streets.
No, never fighting at school or in the streets. No, nothing like that. No, never brought no trouble to anyone's house. No, never.
So when in your belly we used to be younger, and we're younger, they squabble over a toy, and you're like, come on, a fight. So I'd be driving, I'd get the toy and just dash it out the window. Yeah. Conversation's over. That's how you dealt with it. That's the best way to deal with it.
With my dad, the car used to brakes used to slam on, door used to go up him. That's ours. Ooh, that's what you might there. That were us. Reported. That were us. You got one child. I remember we went to B&Q once in Barnsley. Sorry, Dad, I'm gonna tell this story. Now we're on the subject. We went to B&Q in Barnsley, and
you need to make Dad up to
me and my brother. Nah, it's alright. They can't defend themselves. Me and Bradley were going up and down the aisles, like on the trolley, like sliding up and down. My dad were like, right, both of you behave now, carried on, behave now, carried on, behave now. And he went, you know what? Do whatever you want to do, because when you get home, you're getting beats anyway. Do what you want to do. Slide up and down, do whatever you want. You're both getting a beat anyway. So like, all right then. So we're idiots. We go on sliding up and down. Anyway, got home. We both ran upstairs to attic, sprinted off. He's chasing us. I got top of the stairs, and I don't know why, but there was a shoe there, and I turned around and I threw a shoe at him to try and slow him down. To try and slow him down. So I got to try and slow him down. I got into attic. My brother shared a room. He like got under the bed and got to the right corner under the bed, and I was just there. I took the beating. He was there crying.
Sure, your dad?
Yeah, but my brother was there crying before he even got a beat. I took it on. Bradley was crying. No, it will come in. But I threw a shoe at him. Do you know, like, when you do something, you think, why have I done that? Yeah. I coming out of my hand, I thought, oh my God. Oh no. To him, just see it in slow motion. I thought, I'm getting it here, but yeah.
See, our generation, that's what we got. But when I talk to the girls about catching a beating, they're like, what? I'd report you to the police. I'd get you before the police got you.
My brother had been out. It must have been probably like 15. Sorry, I've got two of this story. I could go here all day. One more. No, I've got 1.5 story. So one more. Yeah. My brother is getting a picture as well. So my dad's weekend, me and brother stayed at my dad's. But he got to that age where he started going out with like 15, to the local park or whatever. So my dad said to him, right, make sure you're back by 9, 9:15, 9:30. Ringing me Bradley, not answering. Bradley finally rings me at like 10 o'clock. Like, oh, Dad, yeah, sorry, I'm late, my phone's run out of battery or whatever excuse he was. And then he put the phone down and he was like, did you hear people laughing in the background? I went like, yeah, they were laughing at you, weren't they? They were taking mick at you, yeah, they were taking mick, they're laughing at you. And he was like, well then, I was like, do you not hear them all laughing at you? I was like, it's coming an hour late, it's not this. I was like, sure you got to beat you for that. And he was like, so I'm like, sure you got to beat you for that. Anyway, it goes up, comes down with belt, and I'm like, yes. Bradley comes in at like 11:30. That's it, done. But now, so obviously me and Bradley are the oldest kids, and then Lily is 7 years younger than me. So Lily, Nancy, and Lennon, they never got beat when they were younger. Me and Bradley are like, you're not going to beat them. You beat us for that. Like, what? You're not going to give him a smack. Like, go on, just give him one. That's it, exactly.
Anything.
So there's little girl. No, they're not getting smacked. And Lennon not getting smacked. I'm just like, but me and him we used to get some right beats. Like, for less than not even that.
Does he deny it?
Soft. In fact, the other day he went, Callum, Brad, I used to beat you when you're younger. We're like, yeah. You man, he was like, Bradley said that, I didn't do that. We're like, oh my, like, yeah, you did. My grandma used to say, whenever at my grandma and granddad's, we used to run to my grandma to stop him. I'm painting him in a bad light. I love my dad, he's a great guy, I love him to bits. Love him to bits. Sorry, Dad, no. He is actually an amazing man, he's an amazing man. But yeah.
Not catching the beats, no.
That's it. That's how I'm gonna slip in.
What we're trying to ask people as well about the rules in boxing, if you could change a rule or add a rule or just kind of shift. Not they do in football, like the kickoff changed a little bit, offside came in later on. These rules get added and tweaked every now and then. If you could tweak boxing or rule in boxing, what would it be? We had Liam Cameron on here and we were saying you can't clothesline people over the rings no more.
That'd be a good rule.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's any that you got or...
If there's a rule if you'd like to tweak in the boxing.
Like I always say maybe like a point deduction for someone not engaging in a fight. Do you know what I mean? If you're just kind of running off and they're chasing you, you're not getting involved. Yeah. And you were saying it might be because they're hurt, but if they're hurt, then you should be engaging with them at least.
It's just the consistency of scoring, referees.
Exactly
again, like there's so little consistency in terms of when fights are stopped, when they're stopped. Some refs jump straight away, some let it go on, like they take a beating for rounds and rounds. And then again with the scoring, there's no consistency anywhere with that. And how you'd bring in a ruling to make that better.
Accountability is for the...
Show the face of the judge.
For the ref and the judge.
No, so if the judge has scored something a certain way and it's proper way out, then afterwards, sit him down in front of the camera and say, just tell us how you scored that round there. And so I think if judges know that's going to come, they're less inclined to do, I call it a bent move.
Yeah, I think not even that. I think that if the judges can explain why they've come to that decision, the fans would understand it more, because there's so many fights that I'll watch and I'll be like, oh, I think so-and-so's got that. Then my dad might think, oh no, he's got that. And I was like, how would you think that? And then they'll... Well, yeah, so not my dad, my trainer, someone got a bit of boxing knowledge, not him. But like they'll come to they'll think the other person's won. And the thing is, if there's 12 rounds that are close, it could go 12 to one, 12 to another. But it all depends on. But then when you actually give your reasoning for someone winning that fight, you're like, you know what, fair enough, you can see why they would have won that. But if a judge gives their explanation, then someone might be like, you know what, fair enough, I can understand why you might think that. Yeah. As opposed to, oh, what a load of crap that is, like, what you're watching. But if they actually give the explanation, like, no, actually, from where I was sat, I was seeing this, he was putting the pressure on, or no, he was sat back, he was boxing, he was catching good shots, landing these shots. Yeah, they weren't as big, but they were still...
Just a bit more transparency from their decision making to justify their decisions.
What about you?
I think AIBA, I don't know whether it was AIBA or World Boxing, they did an investigation, I think it might have been AIBA, and they made all the referees and judges take this like test, and it was basically to see if they were corrupt or not. And the people that they deemed and judged off whatever set of questions, however it was, obviously didn't get to judge anymore. And maybe that's a possibility because, and it again, if you see something from that side and I see something from that side, it can look like two different fights, but if your justification might be just, but my justification might be just. But
if you turn the volume down on the TV, you're seeing a completely different fight than what you're hearing. That's what I've seen many times. You turn the volume down and then you've seen the fight, but then you watch the same fight with the volume, like, really? So
there's been a few of my fights, I forgot which ones they were, and someone had mentioned that, one of my mates rang me after, said, have you watched fight back yet? I'm like, no. I said, have you heard commentary? That they won't give you no credit for this, they won't give you no credit for that. I'm like, but obviously...
But the judges are spaced out, aren't they? The judges are all corners of the ring, they're not sat near each other, they can't talk like that.
But again, you would have seen it yourself, there's fights that I'll watch in person, it'll look like a big shot, And you watch back on TV, it didn't even land. It landed on the glove. Yeah. It's all like, depending on where you sat as a judge, because they're on there's 3 judges in the air, they're on 3 different points of the ring. You might not see a shot land on the glove. You might see if you're sat there and his head just comes this way, you don't see the shot land on the glove, you just hear a bang.
Yeah.
And then even when I fought Elvis, the soldier, down in London, after the fight, after the first round, I looked at my dad, he looked sick, he looked sick, he was like, oh no, because obviously we were throwing big shots and I was just wimbling, whatever, my boxing went out the window. Then after the fight, everyone had watched it, like, oh, I've watched the fight back, you did way better than I thought. Them shots weren't even landing, like, they landed on your gloves, but when you've got the emotion there, every shot, you hear a big bang on the gloves, you think, oh, it's hit.
It's that. Of the gloves, like you hear that thing, every day the crowd go, ooh, and you feel like saying, didn't actually go through.
Yeah, my dad's there, we're on about it over there, and when I finish a round, my dad's my biggest critic, like he's very honest, and my brother as well, they're very honest, so when I finish a round, I'll walk back to corner, and I'll look at my dad, and I'll either see good round, or I'll see so whichever one it is, I know if I've done well or not. I know if I've done well or not. If the head's in the hands, then that's it, a bad round. But very rarely happens. So.
Tash, have you ever been in a fight where someone's not been called out, or you just think this referee's letting her get away with everything, and the world getting away with everything? Have you ever been uncomfortable with how the officials have managed your fight?
No, I do think I've been quite fortunate because a lot of the females still are very kind of amateur-esque in the like we'll let go like that, and we'll look when I hold them. That's a very amateur thing to do. You know what I mean? So it doesn't. But I can see others' arguments for Katie and her head. I can see others' arguments.
Because I've seen that with Katie, and it's sometimes it just looks so blatant when she's going in with her head.
Yeah.
Sorry, say that just for people.
So Katie Taylor, when she boxed Serrano, Lasuta, she's gone in, but she goes in head first.
She kind of lost a couple points.
She goes in with her head a lot, but it's like. It's not as though she's pulling back trying to nut one. She's going in head and hand first.
She goes with a fist, but her head comes straight after. Yeah. So I genuinely don't think she does it on purpose, but it definitely is. You are using your head. So whether it's like, okay, you're not purposely going in and throwing. You're not trying to do it, but it's still happening. So and the first time she ever got a point took off her was the Serrano's second fight. Now, bearing in mind, in that she fought Chantel. Pursuing myself, and I didn't
complain about it, didn't she?
Yeah, but then there was a thing about like there was a little clip of that came out where Jamie Moore's saying to the ref, "Will you just watch out for this?" And he says like, "I'll do my job, you do yours."
Yeah, I've seen that. Where
in the
change room we've done that
just
as well.
letting you know, because there's like Joe's definitely said it.
They've been turning a blind eye to it for a while. Because if we're seeing it, they must not be aware of it.
Yeah, but I also think it's like a thing of when someone tells you, like I've just been saying, and someone tells you, they get the back up about it. Yeah, but what Joe said, which is so true, Joe sat there for 12 weeks or 10 weeks, whatever the camp has been, and studied this person that I'm going to go in. So he knows everything about them. Any decent coach will. So he knows what they do, when they spin off, what they do, how they approach. So if he's telling you, you're the ref that could be doing 2 fights that night, or you're not focused in on Katie Taylor and watching and thinking, okay, I need to watch for this. Yeah. They don't study people like that. Yeah, they're just getting the fights that they get because they might not even know till the day before.
Yeah, but in defence of the referee, the corners can be very persuasive, because I can remember when Brendan had been in the corner and he'd have us planted at the side of the ring, and if a fighter threw a shot and it missed, our job was to say, "Oh, great shot!"
Oh, Steffi was the worst.
Yeah. So and he kind of influencing the referee to say, he's like, "What shot? Oh, maybe he did get it." Yeah. And so there's always that skullduggery that goes on. Joe Gallagher can be obsessive, and it can be a pain in the arse. So sometimes when he's going on to a referee about watch this, watch that, I think it's lost in translation because he's so in your face. You think, "Oh God, Joe, shut up!" But he has a point. But it's just his delivery does not matter.
Of the point. But yeah, I think like maybe that would be a rule that they study and watch because
lack of consistency again though, because if that was in a lesser fight or wasn't as big of a fight, they'd probably get disqualified. And they're trying to take points off. In the bigger fights, they don't really take points off, but in some that might not be as big, they'll take points off.
And I hate the way, like, so when, let me say a prime example. When Pursoon fought Katie Taylor, everyone was like, no, Pursoon put the pressure on and whatever. But everyone was like, well, Katie threw the bigger shot. And that's how she won. That she was more accurate, she threw the bigger shot and whatever. Then I fought Katie, and I don't think there was a particularly big shot that she landed. But then Katie was more aggressive, she come forward more, and then she wins on that. So how do you win against her? If you can't win by throwing the big shot and you can't win by putting the pressure on, how do you win against her? Do you know what I mean? So by who's in the ring depends how the refs
do you think
or the judges judge.
Do you think she's been favoured? Do you think she's been favoured a lot in her career coming through?
No.
She's done amazing things for women's boxing.
Yeah, no, I don't think she's been favoured, but that was I'm just putting out Katie, but because I've fought her. But there's other people that happens to. No one could win a fight on the back foot, then Floyd Mayweather comes and then he can. You know, Canelo, you can't just throw 3 shots around and win a fight, and then Canelo does it. So like, you can't just judge by who's in the ring. It's got to be, like you said, a bit more consistent, a bit more constructive about how to score around. And then the Americans like things that we don't. So if you go to America, then you've got to be mindful that what they're judging on is totally different to how we judge it, which is, it just makes it silly, because then you're boxing to the judge instead of boxing to the person.
I suppose one or two other things you've got to look out for is when promoters they might have their favourite referees, their favourite judges, and I don't know how much of an influence they have over who's on that squad to judge their shows, whether it be in Australia, Birmingham, Bradford, whatever. But what happens is there's a subtle way of persuading or befriending the officials by you put them in a lovely hotel. You make sure they're fed well. Anything they want, it's on their house. Don't worry about it. So the judges and the referees like, God, I want to come on. I want to come on this gig again. So when there's a close fight and the house fighter is like it's questionable, there's more chance of that house fighter getting the call, getting the nod, rather than the winner getting the nod, because there's that passive persuasion of kind of, in a way, you're giving them a backhander by taking care of them that way. Put them in a lovely hotel, give them chauffeur-driven cars to the hotel, eat all you want, drink on it, it's on my tab. And so it's something you can't prove. Something you can't prove. I suppose MPs are in that position where they're not allowed to take gifts, so they're not put in that position. So maybe officials need to be put in that kind of position.
Yeah, I've seen that they get looked. I've heard something about Mark Clattenburg, ex-Premier League manager, ref, saying kind of like, the same thing, clubs would look after you, do you know what I mean? They can't pay you or anything, but you know what I mean, in your changing room, you might have got a new pair of boots, or you might have got something that's going to...
The governing body need to isolate their crew they send in for this particular fight, and they'll say, right, we'll sort out the hotel, we'll sort out their meals, we'll make sure you can't fraternise or be in the same hotel as them. And that way it just keeps it more separate.
More neutral.
More neutral. Maybe that would be the smartest way.
I think as humans we always have a certain bias, don't we? But I think it's just it's a natural thing. We've always got a bias a certain way. Whether someone's nice to us or we might not like someone, we'll be more biased in the ring. Maybe referees like that, maybe judges are like that, without them actually. It's like a non-conscious bias or unconscious bias. Like they don't mean to be biased, but they just are without meaning to be. Yeah.
No, amazing. But before we finish, we've been thinking like trying to get like a playlist of music. So I wondered if you've got a tune you want to chuck into the playlist, whether it's one that you come out to, whether it's one that's going to get you up for. Kind of want to build a gym playlist, really. So if you've got one that we can have, we're just going to chuck them on.
Ring walk song on fight week.
You only do?
Yeah, which the professor...
You pick it, or is it the same one?
It's, my first 3 fights I came out to Section Boys.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah, Section Boys Lockoff. Come out to that my first 2 or 3. But now it's Macy Smales, the professor of the North Mason. I think it's on Spotify. But that's my fight week. Which when it comes on, that's when you get the...
What is it about it?
We filmed it in Barnsley in lockdown, and it's just one of my good friends. He mentions me in the song. Some of my close friends he mentioned in the song. He references places in Barnsley, and he says on about something like Joe Keys sitting. He's on about Joe Keys sitting ringside while big simp lens man down with reach or something, and it's like it mentioned me in the song, but only if you're not from Barnsley, you won't catch the references that he mentions. And if you're not me or one of my good mates, you won't know who Big Matt is, you won't know who Joe Key is, you won't know big simp lens man down with reach or like blood splashing ringside seats or something. You wouldn't know what he's referencing. So it's like it's very personal to me, but I love that song, and I've come out to that song for my last like 15 songs.
Definitely get that on Natasha.
Yeah, so chuck that one in. If not, nice little bit of soul, and some soul in there for a bit of James Brown or something. Yeah.
No, but we can't have that on our gym playlist. We're
Well,
trying to get pumped up. What you want to get the soul there?
You want that heavy rock, just
Yeah.
Get
What's
relaxed
yours,
as well.
It has to be mine, Girls Run the World, or All the Lights.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's a tune.
All the lights.
Yeah.
Callum
That's a good shout. Callum owns that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I watched come out to that when I was going pro, you know, and I thought I can't. No way, I can't.
He's got that. I don't.
No, imagine me. I can't do that. Yeah, no. But I always wanted it.
I was saying earlier, when I'm old enough to remember some tracks coming out, when Nas came out to Hot Stepper, and it suited him down to the ground. Obviously, AJ came out to Stormzy, Stormzy's track. Bad track. Nigel Bain came out to Dangerous. Another, you know, you can think, there's all those ones, when you hear that track now, you always think of that fight. David Hay was, oh my goodness, I've forgotten it. When I hear it, I'll know what it is. David Hay's had a track. So when you've got a track, you think of the fighter.
You know, I'll say quickly, my dad actually had a fight, unlike them charity white colour ones. He had one of them. but guess what song he came out to?
Go on.
Hot Stepper. He come out to Hot Stepper. Who does he think he is? He come out, and the thing is, I run his corner for it as well. Like, this is my song, and he's like, okay, the Hot Stepper. And I thought, oh my God, so like, is that your song? Like, yeah, that's me, Hot Stepper, I'm the Hot Stepper. And he won by stoppage, third round stoppage.
Did you win? Go on, bad boy. Oh.
So yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's a...
You got one. You must have got one. What was the last one you walked out to?
I always walk out to the same one, Girls Run the World. Girls Run the World.
Oh yeah. Perfect.
Which one do you remember that belonged to somebody else? Which one stands out to you?
Eubanks. Only because I absolutely hated them as well at the time. Because I was like all for Ben. So like you do dong, dong, and I'm like, oh, it's coming. And then the I was like, dun, 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 dun. And I liked Tina Turner, but I was like, I don't like this song.
So when Junior boxed Connor, when they did the rehearsals for it, and they had the choir there and everything, trust me, you know when you're in that arena and the choir's there and they're all singing and the music's there and it's just mad. And Junior had all these different tracks coming out, and then his dad's track came out. Yeah, Simply the Best. You thought that was a proper special night.
That was a
crazy one.
Like we on commentary didn't really know like what to do, because we all got dead emotional at the same time when we seen him. Like the doors just opened and you got out of the van. We were all like.
Well, you know what?
It's great to see the dad.
But you know what? And I said on the day. On the day of before we finished, on the day of that fight.
I
I was on the phone. You was in the car, and I'm on the phone. I'm like, Chris, man, you know.
Johnny always tries to get away. He doesn't like to wait for anyone for more than a second. So if you're not in like downstairs as Johnny comes out, he'll just get in the car and go. Literally, he's done it about 6 times. He's done it about 6 times.
So we're in the hotel to go to the venue. But I'd phoned Chris in the hotel. And I thought it'd be like a 10-minute call. We were on the phone for about 2 hours, man. Yeah. So I'm like, I've got to get out. So I'm getting changed and everything. And then came downstairs. And I forgot, they said the car was outside. So I forgot, and I jumped to the car and they're in the car. I'm saying, Chris, man, just come. And Chris was proper. And I don't know if that was, he already knew he was going to be coming or how much of a difference it made. I don't care what story he gave out as long as he was there. But we were pleading. My man's quoting lines out of the Bible to me about his son's this, that, and the other. I'm saying, Chris, listen to me. That's your son. And we're back and forth. I said, yo, I've got people around. This time we're in the car. I'm like, I'm trying to have a private conversation, but I couldn't just cut him off. But he's a very deep, clever guy. And he wears his heart on his sleeve, and he does things that are, he's used as a meme. People will mock him from time to time, but he's actually a nice guy. He's a nice guy. And his son, I think Junior, doesn't care for boxing folk. So when he's running down Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren, he don't care because he'll step into this boxing world and step out again. But I think Chris gets a bad rap a lot of the time, and obviously losing his son, he went through an emotional turmoil. But he's a nice guy. He's a good man, and people just don't. He's a gimmick. He's got a lisp. He's very eccentric. But
it's different. He's not the norm, is he? Yeah, so people will always attack what isn't the usual. And boxing is so used to a norm that when anyone comes and like disturbs it, whether that's a commentary team, whether that's a new channel, whether that's we're like, oh, we're not used to that. We don't like that.
Not at all. No. Chris was a sparring partner for Harold Graham. I'm going to my stories now. Chris was a sparring partner for Harold Graham. I think Harold Graham was fighting Mark Kaler. I can't remember if it was Mark Kaler. And Chris came up, and so a guy called Paul Wallace had a little flat in north of Sheffield, and so he'd done his room out because Brendan's always cutting corners. Instead of putting him in a hotel, you can stay in Paul's house. So Paul put a bowl of fruit in the bedroom, made the bed up nice and tidy, put some smell in the bedroom. And Brendan said, you're staying at Paul's house, and Chris got to the house and closed the door. Chris went and checked himself into a hotel and said, I'll pay for. So he was a sparring partner, but he paid for himself to stay in the hotel. So Paul was really offended by Chris like saying, I ain't staying there. And then, and Chris was in the gym every day sparring, and everybody was itching to spar with Chris because Chris would just stand there. He just hit the bag once, boom, just one shot. And we're looking thinking, shit, we're battering. So there's me, this Fidel Castro, I can't remember, that wanted to spar with him, and waiting for Harold to come in, and Chris was just boom, on the bag, just one shot. I thought, so Brendan said, Chris won with Johnny. So I'm boom, sparring with Chris, and Chris couldn't hit me. So Chris stopped in the middle of the ring and said to Brendan, tell him to stand still. And Brendan looked at Chris and looked at me, he said, carry on. Boom. So Chris couldn't touch me all the time. And so he was getting pissed off, but he was waiting for Harold. Yeah. So then Harold came in the ring. Every day, Harold's battering Chris, getting it, every single day. 4 or 5 rounds they're doing, and Chris is taking it and coming back. Then on the Friday, Chris should have been there 2 weeks. On the Friday, Chris is boom, caught Harold. He didn't put him on his arse, he put him on his back. Harold's out on his back. I'm like, it's the first time I've seen Harold get knocked down. I'm like, shit! And Brendan shouts, lock the door! Because people were watching, so he didn't want the story to get out. And Chris just stood there, looking at Chris, looking at what? I thought, you fucking nut job. And so Errol, like, he got up and he was like, he'd gone. And Brendan thought, he's fighting soon. I can't make this kid, I can't have his head done in. Because if you've just been knocked down, it's going to affect your confidence. And Brendan says, one more round. I went looking at Brendan thinking, he's gone. So Harold had to bullshit his way through the round, sparring with Chris, and Chris is trying to whack him again, couldn't get him. That was on a Friday. Chris went home after that. He just said, I'm done. He said, I will never fight this guy because I can't touch him, but I know if I do, I can knock him out. Yeah. He said, I'm done. So from should have been there 2 to 3 weeks, the one shot he got off, he took Harold out. He's like watching a cartoon when someone went whack on the floor. but he was odd then. I'm not saying he's weird. Weird's probably too disrespectful. He just thought different. He just looked at things differently. Yeah. And I think with his son's very much the same. They just look at things differently, which is a nice story. That's my story.
Oh, when you mentioned Bummer Graham, then he taught me how to skip when I was 9 years old. Yeah, 9 years old.
Did you come down to Sheffield? Did he go up to you?
No, he came up to Barnsley. It was a mischief night in the YMCA in Barnsley. They just had someone coming in. Well, I just heard. Obviously, I just started boxing then. I was 9 years old, and they were like, "Oh, someone's at gym. Come down to do it at boxing." So I've just started boxing. Yeah, perfect. I'll go down. So all my mates were there, egging windows, doing whatever kids do. I went down, egging windows. That's keeping it PG, just egging windows. But they were egging windows for that, doing a bit of mischief. I went to YMCA, and obviously I never heard of him, didn't know who he was, but I think we're trying to do a world record soon after that. Skipping, yeah.
I was there. I went to that.
Yeah, well, it was before we did the world record, because he was saying I'm training for a world record. Yeah. And yeah, he taught me how to skip, and I was doing it. I couldn't, like, by the end of that hour session, I could skip properly. And I come the next time I went to my dad's, the weekend after, I'm like, Dad, look, I can skip. And he was like, but yeah, you can skip. But yeah, he taught me how to skip when I was like 9 years old, yeah.
He made a difference. Yeah, made a massive difference to the community. Listen, big thank you. A pleasure just getting to know the ins and outs of what's going on. We would have dug into some more personal stuff, but I promise you we wouldn't.
I'm scared for Callum's dad if he did.
I'm scared for me when I walk out. Belts, has he got a belt on today? I hope not. Oh, he's taking it off now. He's off now.
Good luck with everything in the future, and amazing. Congratulations on your manager's license. I can't wait for that. That's going to be amazing.
Show with me, Johnny Nelson and Nicholson, and our amazing guests.